That's not why. That's not why I sat here. This is just comfortable because this is where my comfortable chair is, and I'm torn between reading script or reading from the screen. But anyway, we'll see.
Peter, did you get the part you read for?
What in this Shakespeare play?
No, you auditioned for a part the last time, and you left early.
Oh, yeah. No, and that's okay.
That's right. That's okay.
I'm not the only one.
Okay. Anything you can do, I can do better.
No, and it was for a patient in a hospital.
No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can.
It was supposed to be for a patient in the hospital who was at death's door, and when the doctor walks in and expects him to be dying, he's playing cards, and that was it. That was the whole
big role.
You would have done it so well too.
Yeah.
I read for a part for that of a patient in the hospital who was supposed to be in his 80s, who had just gotten married, who was having sex with his newlywed wife in the room, in the hospital room, and the doctors walk in because his pacemaker thing was going crazy on their oscilloscope, and I know, kind of strange, but I didn't.
Dead silence.
Thankfully.
I think I saw that scene. Yeah.
You saw that one?
Yeah, I did. I saw that scene. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Can we start?
Question. Do we all know our roles?
Danny's
okay.
We're
in the countryside after the big problem at Shrewsbury, in which actually Percy was killed, and we discovered that with a messenger coming by to share with Percy's father, who is Northumberland. And Peter, I believe you're playing Northumberland. Yes.
I forgot to look and see if the script is available on screen. And
yes,
you got your book.
It's in a email. It says online script.
I'm sorry, I skipped it. Damn it! I
didn't get no parts.
Yeah. Well, I can read it off the.
Didn't get the role.
No.
From earlier this week.
I'm getting older here.
Am I? Really?
I'm aging.
Yes, I want to tell your roles are, as we speak.
Tell me my role.
Prince Hal, Mowbray, Pistol, and Morton.
Morton, okay, as in salt. And P. Hal, okay.
You have a great scene with Pistol. All right. Yeah. Is everyone satisfied with that information? So Act 1, Scene 1 includes Lord Bardolph as one of the messengers to Northumberland, going to straighten out the truth, Northumberland, about who actually died. Since you were not here last time, you now find out that we're doing part 2 of a show that was 3 weeks ago.
Gentlemen, welcome,
Lord Bardolph. Do you folks have your roles written down?
No, I don't.
You do.
I don't.
Oh, Richard doesn't know his.
I know. I know. I'm the king, right? I'm the king.
You are the king and also Lord Chief Justice. You answered an email and said you'd do that.
All right. Enough already.
Attaboy.
Get it together here.
Una, you know your part?
I gave her some extra things to do tonight. Okay. We may have some others coming up. But I'm going to be doing a lot of cutting, so the scrolling, be prepared to that, because we're going to zoom right through them.
Okay. Maybe we could do The Exorcist after this. Huh?
Yes.
I think my room is haunted. And the witch came over.
Ready for this.
Mike, take it away.
Okay. Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our production of Henry IV, Part 2, Scene 2, Act 1, London, a street. Enter Falstaff with his page bearing
I'm
his
sorry, you're reading the second part of Henry IV, Act 1, Scene 1, after the room.
Act 1, Scene 2, right?
No, Scene 1, because we we're skipping the rumor.
Oh,
we also want to tell Northumberland what really happened at Shrewsbury.
Oh, we thought we were skipping the whole thing. All right.
Yeah, Jim, I'm sorry. I think you said that. I'm sorry. But
just rumor.
Skip rumor. Yes.
Thank you.
Just a rumor. Just an ugly rumor.
Act 1, Scene 1, the same. Enter Lord Bardolph.
Who takes the gate here? Ho! Where is the Earl?
What shall I say you are?
Tell thou the Earl that the Lord Bardolph doth attend him here.
His lordship is walked forth into the orchard, and please it your honor, knock but at the gate, and he himself will answer.
Here comes the Earl.
What news, Lord Bardolph? Any minute now should be the father of some stratagem. Times of wild contentions like a horse full of high feeding that madly hath broke loose and bears down all before him.
Noble Earl, I bring you certain news from Shrewsbury.
Oh, good, and God will.
As good as heart can wish, the king is almost wounded to the death, and in the fortune of my lord, your son, Prince Harry hath slain outright, and both the Blunts killed by the hand of Douglas. Young Prince John in Westmoreland and Stafford fled the field, and Harry, Monmouth's brawn, the hulk Sir John, is prisoner to your son. Oh, such a day, so fought, so followed, and so fairly won, came not till now to dignify the times, since Caesar's fortunes.
How is this derived? I saw you the field. Came you from Shrewsbury?
I spake with one, my lord, that came from thence, a gentleman well-bred and of good name, that freely rendered me these news for true.
Well, here comes my servant Travers, who I sent on Tuesday to listen after the news.
My lord, I overrode him on the way, and he is furnished with no certainties more than he haply may retail from me.
Now, Travers, what good tidings comes from you?
My lord, Sir John Umberville turned me back with joyful tidings, and being better horsed, he outrode me. And after him came spurring hard a gentleman, almost forspent with speed, that stopped by me to breathe his bloodied horse. I asked the way to Chester, and of him I did demand what news from Shrewsbury. He told me that the rebellion had ill luck, and that young Harry Percy's spur was cold. And with that, he gave his able horse the head, and bending forward, struck his armored heels against the panting sides of his poor jade, and up to the rowel head, and started. So he seemed in running to devour the way, saying no longer question.
Again, said young Harry Percy's spur was cold? Of hot spur, cold spur, that rebellion hath met ill luck.
My lord, I'll tell you what, if my young lord your son have not the day, upon mine honor, for a silken point, I'll give my barony, ne'er talk of it.
Why should that gentleman that rode by Travers give such instances of loss?
Who, he? He was some hilding fellow that had stolen the horse he rode on, and upon my life spoke at a venture. Look, here comes more news.
Yes. This man's brow, like to a title leaf, foretells the nature of such tragic volume. So looks the strand whereon the imperfect flood hath read a witness usurpation. Say, Mortimer, didst thou come from Shrewsbury?
I ran from Shrewsbury, my noble lord, where hateful death put on its ugliest mask to fright our party.
How doth thou, my son and brother? Thou tremblest, and with the whiteness of thy cheek is apter for thy tongue to tell thy errand. Even such a man, so faint, so spiritless, so dull, so dead in look, so woe-begone, thou Priam's curtain in the dead of light, and would have told him that half his Troy was burnt. But Priam round the fire ere his tongue. And I, my Percy's death, ere thou report'st it, this thou wouldst say, your son did thus and thus, your brother thus, so fought the noble Douglas, stopping my greedy ear with their cold bolted deeds, but in the end to stop my ear indeed. Thou hast a sigh to blow away this praise, ending with brother, son, and all are dead.
Douglas is living, and your brother, yet but for my lord your son.
Why, he is dead. See what a ready tongue the suspicion hath. But that fears the thing he would not know, hath by instinct knowledge from others' eyes that what he feared is chanced. Yet speak, Morton. Tell thou an earl that his divination lies, and I will take it as a sweet disgrace, and make thee rich for doing me such wrong.
You are too great to be by me gainsaid. Your spirit is too true, your fears too certain.
Yet for all this, say not that Percy is dead. I see a strange confession in thine eye. Thou shakest thy head, and holdest it fear or sin to speak a truth. If he be slain, say so, the tongue offends not that it reports his death, and that he doth sin that doth belie the dead, not he which says the dead is not alive. Yet the first bringer of unwelcome news hath but a losing office, and his tongue sounds ever after as a sullen bell, remembered tolling a departing friend.
I cannot think, my lord, your son is dead.
I am sorry I should force you to believe that which I would to God I had not seen. But these mine eyes saw him in bloody state, rendering faint quittance. Wearied and out breath, hairy Monmouth, whose swift wrath beat down the ever-daunting Percy to the earth, from whence with life he never more sprung up. In few his death, though spirit lent a fire even to the dullest peasant in his camp, being bruited once, took fire and heat away from the best-tempered courage in his troops, for from his metal was his party steeled, from whence in him abated all the rest, turned on themselves like dull and heavy lead. And as this thing that heavy in itself upon enforcement flies with greatest speed, so did our men, heavy in Hotspur's loss, lend to this weight such lightness with their fear that arrows fled not swifter towards their aim than did our soldiers, aiming at their safety, fly from the field. Then was the noble Worcester too soon ta'en prisoner, and that furious Scot, the bloody Douglas, whose well-labored sword had 3 times slain the appearance of the king, gone veil his stomach, and did grace the shame of those that turned their backs, and in his flight stumbled in fear, was took. The sum of all is that the king hath won, and hath sent out a speedy power to encounter you, my lord, under the conduct of young Lancaster and Westmoreland. This is the news at full.
Oh, for this I shall have time enough to mourn. In poison there is physic, and these news, having been well, that would have made me sick, being sick, have, in some measure, made me well. And as the wretch whose fever weakened joints, like strengthenless hinges, buckle under life, impatient of his fit, breaks like a fire out of his keeper's arms, even so my limbs, weakened with grief, being now enraged with grief, are thrice themselves. Hence, therefore, thou nice crutch, a scaly gauntlet now with joints of steel must glove this hand, and hence, thou sickly coif, thou that art a guard too wanton for the head, which thou princess, fledged with conquest, aim to hit. Now bind my brows with iron, and approach this ragged hour, the time and the spite date, to frown upon the enraged Northumberland. Let heaven kiss earth, Now let not nature's hand keep the wild flood confined. Let order die, and let this world no longer be a stage to feed contention in a lingering act. But let one spirit of the firstborn Cain reign in all bosoms, that each heart being set of bloody curses, the rude scene may end, and darkness be the burier of the dead.
This strained passion does you wrong, my lord.
Sweet Earl, divorce not wisdom from your honor.
The lives of all your loving compliances lean on your health, the which, if you give o'er to stormy passion, must perforce decay. You cast the event of war, my noble lord, and summoned the account of chance. Before you said, let us make head, it was your presurmise. You knew he walked o'er perils and on edge, more likely to fall in than to get o'er. You were advised his flesh was capable of wounds and scars, that his forward spirits would lift him. There were most trade of danger ranged. Yet did you say, go forth, and none of this, though strongly apprehended, could restrain the stiff-born action which hath then befallen, or that hath his bold enterprise brought forth, more than that being which was like to be.
We all that are engaged to this loss know that we ventured on such dangerous seas, that if we wrought our life, 'twas 10 to 1, and yet we ventured, for the gain proposed choked, the respect of likely peril feared, and since we are o'erset, venture again. Come, we will all put forth body and goods.
'Tis more than time, and my most noble lord, I hear for certain, and do speak the truth, the gentle Archbishop of York is up with well-appointed powers. He is a man who, with a double surety, binds his followers. My lord, your son had only but the corpse, but shadows and the shows of men to fight. For that same word, rebellion, did divide the action of their bodies from their souls. And they did fight with queasiness, constrained as men drink potions, that their weapons only seemed on our side. But for their spirits and souls, this word, rebellion, it had froze them up as fish are in a pond. But now the bishop turns insurrection to religion, supposed sincere and holy in his thoughts. He followed both with body and with mind, and doth enlarge his rising with the blood of fair King Richard, scraped from Pomfret stones, derives from heaven his quarrel and his cause, tells them he doth bestride a bleeding land, gasping for life under great Bolingbroke, and more and less do flock to follow him.
I know of this before, but to speak truth, this present grief hath wiped it from my mind. Go in with me and counsel every man the aptest way for safety and revenge. Get posts and letters and make friends with speed. Never so few, and never yet more need. Exeunt.
Dun dum 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 dum. Scene 2, London, a street. Enter Falstaff with his page, bearing his sword and buckler. Hurrah, you giant! What says the doctor to my water?
He said, sir, the water itself was a good, healthy water, but for the party that owned it, he might have not more diseases than he knew for.
Men of all sorts, take a pride to gird at me. The brain of this foolish compounded clay. Man is not able to invent anything that tends to laughter more than I invent, or is invented on me. I am not only witty in myself, but the cause that wit is in other men. I do here walk before thee like a sow that hath overwhelmed all her litter but one. If the prince put thee into my service for any other reason than to set me off, why then, I have no judgment, thou whoreson mandrake. Thou art fitter to be worn in my cap than to wait at my heel. I was never manned with an agate till now, but I will inset you neither in gold nor in silver, but in vile apparel, and send you back again to your master for a jewel, the juvenile, the prince your master, whose chin is not yet fledged. I will sooner have a beard grow in the palm of my hand than he shall get one on his cheek, and yet he will not stick to say his face is a face royal. God may finish it when he will. 'Tis not a hair amiss yet. He may keep it still at a face royal, for a barber shall never earn sixpence out of it, and yet he'll be crowing as if he had writ man ever since his father was a bachelor. He may keep his own grace, but he's almost out of mine, I can assure him. What said Master Dumbledon about the satin for my short cloak and my slop?
He said, sir, you should procure him better assurance than Bardolph. He would not take his bond and yours. He liked not the security.
Let him be damned, like the glutton. Pray God his tongue be hotter. A horse and Actoville, a rascally yea, forsooth nay. To bear a gentleman in hand, and then stand upon security. Their horse and smooth pates do now wear nothing but high shoes and bunches of keys in their girdles, and if a man is through with them in honest taking up, then they must stand upon security. I had as lief they would put ratsbane in my mouth and offer to stop it with security. I looked as should have sent me 22 yards of satin, as I am a true knight, and he sends me security.
Really?
Well, he may sleep in security, for he hath the horn of abundance, and the lightness of his wife shines through it. And yet cannot he see, though he have his own lantern to light him? Where's Bardolph?
He's gone into Smithfield to buy your worship a horse.
I bought him in St. Paul's, and he'll buy me a horse in Smithfield. And I could get me but a wife in the stews, I were manned, horsed, and wived.
Sir, here comes the nobleman that committed the prince for striking him about Bardolph.
Wait close. I will not see him. What's he that goes there?
Falstaff, please your lordship.
He that was in question for the robbery?
He, my lord, but he hath since done good service at Shrewsbury, and, as I hear, is now going with some charge to the Lord John of Lancaster.
What? To York? Call him back again.
Sir John Falstaff.
Boy, tell him I'm deaf.
You must speak louder. My master is deaf.
I am sure he is. To the hearing of anything good, go. Pluck him by the elbow. I must speak with him.
Sir John!
What? A young knave and begging. Is there not wars? Is there not employment? Doth not the king lack subjects? Do not the rebels need soldiers? There would be a shame to be on any side but one. It is worse shame to beg than to be on the worst side. Were it worse than the name of rebellion, can tell how to make it.
You mistake me, sir.
Why, sir, did I say you were an honest man? Setting my knighthood and my soldiership aside, I had lied in my throat if I had said so.
I pray you, sir, then set your knighthood and your soldiership aside, and give me leave to tell you, you lie in your throat. If you say I am any other than an honest man.
I'll give thee leave to tell me so. I lay aside that which grows to me. If thou gettest any leave of me, hang me. If thou takest leave, thou would better be hanged. You hunt counter, hence, avaunt!
Sir, my lord would speak with you.
What, Sir John Falstaff? A word with you.
My good Lord, God give your lordship good time of day. I'm glad to see your lordship abroad. I heard say your lordship was sick. I hope your lordship goes abroad by advice. Your lordship, though not clean past your youth, hath yet some smack of age in you, some relish of the saltiness of time, and I must humbly beseech your lordship to have a reverent care of your health, Lord.
I sent for you before your expedition to Shrewsbury.
We,
I got it. I figured it out because it was like, wasn't clear.
Actor, behave.
and please your lordship, I hear his majesty is returned with some discomfort from Wales.
I talk not of his majesty. You would not come when I sent for you.
And I hear, moreover, his highness has fallen into the same horse and apoplexy.
Aye, well, God mend him, I pray you. Let me speak with you.
This apoplexy is, as I take it, a kind of lethargy, and please your lordship, kind of sleeping in the blood, hoarse and tingling.
What tell you me of it? Be it as it is.
It hath its original from much grief, from study and perturbation of the brain. I have read the cause of his affecting Galen. It's a kind of deafness.
I think you are fallen into the disease, for you hear not what I say to you.
Very well, my lord, very well. Rather, and please you, it is the disease of not listening, the malady of not marking that I am troubled withal.
To punish you by the heels would amend the attention of your ears, and I care not if I do become your physician.
I am as poor as Job, my lord, but not so patient. Your lordship may minister the potion of imprisonment to me in respect of poverty, but how should I be your patient to follow your prescription? The wise may make some dram of a scruple, or indeed a scruple itself.
I sent for you when there were matters against you for your life to come speak with me.
And as I was then advised by my learned counsel in the laws of this land service, I did not come.
Well, the truth is, Sir John, you live in great infamy.
He that buckles him in my belt cannot live in less.
Your means are very slender, and your waist is great.
I would it were otherwise. I would my means were greater and my waist slenderer.
You have misled the youthful prince.
The young prince hath misled me. I am the fellow with the great belly, and he my dog.
Well, I am loath to gall a new healed wound. Your day's service at Shrewsbury hath a little gilded over your night's exploit on God's hill. You may thank the unquiet time for your quiet order posting that action.
My lord?
But since all is well, keep it so. Wake not a sleeping wolf? That's interesting.
To wake a wolf is as bad as to smell a fox.
What? You are as a candle, the better part burnt out.
A wassailed candle, my lord. All tallow, if I did say it was wax, my growth would approve the truth.
There's not a white hair on your face, or should have his effect of gravity.
His effect of gravy. Gravy.
You follow the young prince up and down like his ill angel.
Not so, my lord, your ill angel's light. But I hope he that looks upon me will take me without weighing. And yet, in some respects, I grant, I cannot go, I cannot tell. Virtue is of so little regard in these costermonger times that true valor is turned bear-herd. Pregnancy is made a tapster, and hath his quick wit wasted in giving reckoning. All the other gifts appurtenant to man, as the malice of his age shapes them, are not worth a gooseberry. You that are old, consider not the capacities of us that are young. You do measure the heat of our livers with the bitterness of your galls. And we that are in the voward of our youth, I must confess, are wagged too.
Do you set down your name in the scroll of youth, that are written down old with all the characters of age? Have you not a moist eye, a dry hand, a yellow cheek, a white beard, a decreasing leg, an increasing belly? Is not your voice broken, your wind short, your chin double, your wit single, and every part about you blessed with antiquity? And will you yet call yourself young? Aye, Sir John.
My lord, I was born about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with a white head and something a round belly. For my voice, I have lost it with hallooing and singing of anthem. To approve my youth further, I will not. The truth is, I am only old in judgment and understanding. And he that will caper with me for 1,000 marks, let him lend me the money, and have at him. For the box of the year that the prince gave you, he gave it like a rude prince, and you took it like a sensible lord. I have checked him, and I have checked him for it, and the young lion repent. Marry not in ashes and sackcloth, but in new silk and old sack.
Well, God send the prince a better companion.
God send the companion a better prince. I cannot rid my hands of him.
Well, the king hath severed you and Prince Harry. I hear you are going with Lord John of Lancaster against the Archbishop and the Earl of Northumberland.
Yea, I thank your pretty sweet wit for it. But look you, pray, all you that kiss my lady peace at home, that our armies join not in a hot day. For by the Lord, I take but 2 shirts out with me, and I mean not to sweat extraordinarily. If it be a hot day, and I brandish anything but a bottle, I would I might never spit white again. There is not a dangerous action can peep out his head, but I am thrust upon it. Well, I cannot last forever, but it was always yet the trick of our English nation, if they have a good thing, to make it too common. If you will needs say I am an old man, you should give me rest. I would to God my name were not so terrible to the enemy as it is. I were better to be eaten to death with rust than to be scoured to nothing with perpetual motion.
Well, be honest, and God bless your expedition.
Will your lordship lend me £1,000 to furnish me for?
No, not a penny. You are too impatient to bear crosses. Fare you well. Commend me to my cousin Westmoreland.
If I do, Philip me with a 3-man beetle. A man can no more separate age and covetousness than can part young limbs and lechery. But the gout galls the one and the pox pinches the other, and so both the degrees prevent my curses. Boy!
Sir,
What money is in my purse?
7 groats and 2 pence.
I can get no remedy against this consumption of the purse. Borrowing only lingers and lingers it out, but the disease is incurable. Go, bear this letter to my Lord of Lancaster, this to the Prince, this to the Earl of Westmoreland, and this to old Mistress Ursula, whom I have weekly sworn to marry since I perceived the first white hair on my chin. About it, you know where to find me. A pox of this gout, sir, a gout of this pox. For the one or the other plays the rogue with my great toe. 'Tis no matter if I do halt, I have the wars for my colour, and my pension shall seem the more reasonable. A good wit will make use of anything. I will turn diseases to commodity.
And we skip the next scene and go on to Act 2, Scene 1.
Act 2, Scene 1, London, a street. Enter Mr. Quickly, Fang, and his boy with her, and Snare following.
Master Fang, have you entered the Exxon?
It is entered.
Where's your yeoman? It's a lusty yeoman. Will it stand to it?
Where's Snare?
Oh, Lord, good Master Snare.
Here! Snare, we must arrest Sir John Falstaff.
Yes, good Master Snare. I have entered him and all.
It may chance cost some of our lives, for he will stab.
Alas the day! Take heed of him. He stabbed me in mine own house, and that most beastly. In good faith, I cares not what mischief he doth. If his weapon be out, he will foin like any devil. He will spare neither man, woman, nor child.
If I get close with him, I care not for his thrust.
No, nor I neither. I'll be at your elbow.
And I but fist him once, come but within my vice.
Not by his going. I warrant you, he's an infinitive thing upon my score. Good Master Fang, hold him sure. Good Master Snare, let him not escape. Comes continually to Pie Corner, saying your manhoods to buy a saddle, and he is indicted to dinner to the Lubber's Head, in Lombard Street to Master Smooth's his silkmen. I pray, since my Exeon is entered, and my case so openly known to the world, let him be brought in to his answer. 100 mark is a long one for a poor lone woman to bear, and I have borne, and borne, and borne, and have been fubbed off, and fubbed off, and fubbed off, and from this day to that day, and it is a shame to be thought on. There is no honesty in such dealing, unless a woman should be made an ass and a beast to bear every knave's wrong. Yonder he comes, and that arrogant, Malmsey, nose-knave Bardolph with him. Do your offices, Master Fang and Master Snare. Do me, your offices.
Oh no! Whose mare's dead? What's the matter?
Sir John, I arrest you at the suit of Mistress Quickly.
Away, varlet. Draw, Bardolph. Cut me off the villain's head. Throw the queen in the channel.
Throw the channel? I'll throw thee in the channel. Wilt thou? Thy bastardly rogue? Murder! O thou honeysuckle villain! Wilt thou kill God's offices and the king's? Ah, thy honey seed rogue! Thou art a honey seed, a man queller, and a woman queller.
Keep them off, Bardolph.
A rescue!
Good people, bring a rescuer too. Thou won't thou? Thou won't thou? Do thou rogue? Do thou hemp seed?
Away, you scullion, you rampallion, you falstellarian, I'll tickle your catastrophe.
Oh, what's the matter? Keep the peace, ho.
Good, my lord. Be good to me, I beseech you. Stand to me.
Hello, Sir John. What are you brawling here? Doth this become your place, your time, and business? You should have been well on your way to York. Stand from him, fellow. Where hangest upon him?
Oh, my most worshipful lord, and it please your grace, I am a poor widow of Eastcheap, and he is arrested at my suit.
For what suit? Which sum?
It is more than for some, my lord. It is for all. All I have. He hath eaten me out of house and home. He hath put all my subsistence into that fat belly of his. But I will have some of it out again, or I will ride thee o' nights like the mare.
I think I am as like to ride the mare if I have any vantage of the ground to get up.
How comes this, Sir John? Fie, What man of good temper would endure the tempest of exclamation? Are you not ashamed to enforce a poor widow to so rough a course, to come by her own?
Oh, what is the gross sum that I owe thee?
Marry, if thou wert an honest man, thyself and the money too, thou didst swear to me upon a parcel gilt goblet, sitting in my dolphin chamber at the round table by a sea coral fire upon Wednesday in Wheason week, when the prince broke thy head for liking his father to a singing man of Windsor. Thou didst swear to me then, as I was washing thy wound, to marry me and make me thy lady, thy wife. Canst thou deny it? Did not good wife Keat, the butcher's wife, come in then and call me gossip quickly, coming in to borrow a mess of vinegar, telling us she had a good dish of prawns, whereby thou didst desire to eat some, whereby I told thee they were ill for a green wound? And didn't thou not, when she was gone downstairs, desire me to be no more so familiarity with such poor people, saying that are as long as they should call me madam? And didn't thou not kiss me and bid me fetch thee 30 shillings? I put thee now to thy book oath. Deny it if thou canst.
My lord, this is a poor mad soul, and she says up and down the town that the eldest son's like you. She hath been a good case, and the truth is, poverty hath distracted her. But for these foolish officers, I beseech you, I may have redress against them.
Sir John, I am well acquainted with your manner of wrenching the true cause and the false way. It is not a confident brow, nor the throng of words that come with such more than impudent sauciness from you, and can thrust me from a level consideration. You have, as it appears to me, practice upon the easy yielding spirit of this woman, and yet made her serve your uses both in purse and in person.
Yes, in truth, my lord.
Pray thee, peace. Pay her the debt you owe her, and unpay the villainy that you have done her. The one is you may do with sterling money, and the other with current repentance.
My lord, I will not undergo this leap without reply. You call honorable boldness impudent sauciness. If a man will make courtesy and say nothing, he is virtuous. No, my lord, my humble duty remembered, I will not be your suitor. I say to you, I do desire deliverance from these officers, being upon hasty employment in the king's affairs.
You speak as having power to do wrong, but unanswer in the effect of your reputation, and satisfy the poor woman.
Come hither, hostess.
Now, Master Gower, what news?
The king, my lord, and Harry, Prince of Wales, are near at hand. The rest the paper tells.
As I am a gentleman.
Faith, you said so before.
As I am a gentleman. Come, no more words of it.
By this heavenly ground I tread on, I must be fain to pawn both my plate and the tapestry of my dining chambers.
Glasses, glasses is the only drinking, and for thy wall, a pretty slight drollery, or the story of the prodigal, or the German hunting and waterwork, is worth 1,000 of these bed hangings and these fly-bitten tapestries. Let it be £10 if thou canst. Come, and 'twere not for thy humours, there's not a better wench in England. Go, Wash thy face, and draw the action. Come, thou must not be in this humor with me. Dost not know me? Come, I know thou wast set on to this.
Pray thee, Sir John, let it be but 20 nobles. I'faith, I am loath to pawn my plate, so God save me in.
Oh, let it alone. I'll make other shift. You'll be a fool still.
Well, you shall have it, though. I pawn my gown. I hope you'll come to supper. You'll pay me all together.
Will I live? Go with her. Go with her. With her. Hook on, hook on.
Will you have doll tear sheet meet you at supper?
No more words. Let's have her.
I have heard better news.
What's the news, my lord?
Where lay the king last night?
At Basing Stroke, my lord.
I hope, my lord, all's well. What's the news, my lord?
Come all his forces back?
No, 1,500 foot, 500 horses are marched up to my lord of Lancaster against Northumberland and the archbishop.
Comes the king back from Wales, my noble lord?
You shall have letters of me presently. Come, go with me, good Master Gower.
My lord.
What's the matter?
Master Gower, shall I entreat you with me to dinner?
I must wait upon my good lord here. I thank you, good Sir John.
Sir John, you loiter here too long. Being you are to take soldiers up in countries as you go.
Will you sup with me, Master Gower?
That foolish master taught you these manners, Sir John.
Master Gower, if they become me not, he was a fool that taught them me. This is the right fencing, Grace, my lord, tap for tap, and so far fair.
Now the Lord lighten thee. Thou art a great fool. Skip scene 2, which is Henry and Poins talking about the father's illness.